In this video, we will discuss the two types of hypotheses used in Six Sigma, the null hypothesis and the alternate hypothesis. We will understand their key points and explore examples as well. Let's begin. First, we will learn why we perform hypothesis testing. Hypothesis testing is a method used to make decisions based on sample data. Now, there are two main types of hypotheses in hypothesis testing. The null hypothesis, which is also called as HO, and the alternate hypothesis, which is also called as HA or sometimes H1. Let's discuss the null hypothesis first. The null hypothesis is the idea that nothing new or different is happening. It's like saying everything is just the same as usual. We keep believing this until we find clear proof that something has actually changed. Now here are the key points for the null hypothesis. It's a basic idea we assume is true, even without proof. When looking at two or more groups, the null hypothesis says there is no important difference between them. For example, average test scores of two classes. The null hypothesis would be that the average test scores of two different classes are the same mathematically, like class A is equal to class B. Next example is if comparing the sales performance across different regions, for example, North, South, East, and West. The null hypothesis would be that all regions have same sales performance, which means that North sales is equal to South sales and they are equal to East and West without any statistical proof. Another example is the null hypothesis would state that there is no relationship between the number of hours slept and productivity at work. Practically, this is not possible. Like if you consider the class result, it's not always the true that class A result will always be equal to class B result. And if we consider the sales problem, it would not be possible all the time that North sale will always be equal to South sale and East sale will always be equal to West sales. I mean, statistically this is not possible all the time. And similarly, if we consider the problem for sleep and productivity, we all know that there is a definite relationship between sleep and productivity. We can prove it statistically wrong. So we have to collect data and then we need to perform analysis and we can prove this null hypothesis statistically wrong. Now this was all about null hypothesis. Moving on to the next hypothesis, that is the alternate hypothesis, which is also called as HA or H1. The alternate hypothesis is what you want to prove. It suggests that there is an effect, a difference, or a relationship. Now here are some key points for the alternate hypothesis. This hypothesis is the expert opinion that challenges the null hypothesis. The goal is to collect data and use statistical tests to prove that the null hypothesis is incorrect. Now here are few examples for the alternate hypothesis. Effect of exercise on weight loss. The alternate hypothesis says that there is definite relationship between exercise and the weight loss. But the null hypothesis would say that the exercise has no effect on weight loss. There is another example of impact of online learning on grades. The alternate hypothesis is that online learning really affects grades and there is a relationship exists. But the null hypothesis would be that online learning has no effect on grades. Now here are some key concepts. We will definitely perform Anderson-Darling normality test here, and if the p-value is less than 0.05, we will reject the null hypothesis and will accept the alternate hypothesis. But if the p-value is greater than 0.05, then we have to accept the null hypothesis and we have to reject the alternate hypothesis, which means that we believe in statistical tests and not the gut feeling only. Default confidence level. The default confidence level for hypothesis testing is 95%, meaning we are 95% confident in our results. Now here is the summary for today's video. Null hypothesis always says that there is no effect, no difference, or no relationship exists. Meanwhile, alternate hypothesis says that there is a relationship or there is a fact, there is some difference, and it challenges the null hypothesis. We have the p-value which help us determine whether to reject the null hypothesis or not. Confidence level. This typically is 95%, indicating the reliability of the results. In Lean Six Sigma, we make decisions based on statistical evidence and not on gut feeling. So that's all for the video on null hypothesis versus alternate hypothesis. If you find this video helpful, then please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.